Welcome. I'm really excited to see you all. Well, I was before. And,
Sorry.
this is the sound guy.
Yeah. Sound guy.
Just, let him do his work.
Oh, the screen's gone.
Yeah, I'm very excited to meet you all in person. I've spoken to so many of you online. I have traveled with some of you. Some of you have come a really long way. Just to put that in perspective, we have someone from America who flew for the rally. We have people from Queensland. We have a lot of people from New South Wales, and that just blows my mind that you would travel so far to experience that with us. So I'm really excited to share with you this event. It's the first, I would say so, of its kind because it's developed in my head, and so I've taken pieces of what I know and put it all together into hopefully what you're going to really enjoy. So we were going to have a first aid training before this. She also, like many of you, got caught in the traffic, so we have slightly shifted. So I'm starting the briefing first, and we're also recording this for anyone who's watching this later. Then you can watch it. So to start with, I just want to thank all of you for coming. I want to thank all of the volunteers who stepped in at the last moment and then made this happen. All of the heavy lifting, I will definitely single out names at the end tomorrow on Sunday when we show the winners. So I also want to thank the sponsors, Royal Enfield, Panhead, LS2. We got Shannon's Insurance. They were the crutch that kind of pulled this all together. So to make the first affordable rally in Australia was definitely down to their help. So what's this rally about? So the first principle that I have is nurturing new riders, in particular in adventure riding. So the reason I started the rally is because I just wanted to see where I was at with my skills and didn't really know if I was good enough to participate in any rallies. So I just want to help myself and other new riders feel comfortable and get the training and assistance they need. So that's the first point. Second point is to bring the community offline. So we have a really good community online and we're always chatting and talking, but it's nice to meet people face to face and have real experiences with them. I want to encourage diversity. So I'm a female, but there's also like all sorts of people, all different personalities. I want to make sure that everyone feels welcome and there's a place for everybody as well. Challenge for personal development. I'm all about pushing yourself and having a good time while you do so. And remove the stigma. Well, the stigma is that trail riders are all bastards and we destroy the environment, and it's not true. We're actually really good people and we really enjoy adventure riding and we do it for our own reasons. So it's definitely about bringing that kind of to attention. And then also just seeing more of Australia. It's a beautiful place, and what better way to see it? So just general housekeeping. So accommodation, you're probably all sorted. You're camping, you've got your dorms. If you haven't, then that's all good. You can come and see me. Food. So the food tonight, we were unfortunately not able to put something on because we didn't know when you would come. We didn't know if people would come after work and whatever, so we left that to you. Tomorrow, if you're participating in the challenge, then you'll have a free lunch, and the way that that's going to work is that you will come back when you're ready, when you're done at your own pace, and we'll have a really large window of time for that lunch. So when you're ready, you can have your lunch. Water. So there is water in the campsite that you can drink. It's perfectly fine to drink. We also have bottled water as well if you need it. First aid presentation will talk a lot, I think, about being dehydrated, especially because it will be cold tomorrow. So it's important to know when you're being dehydrated and how that affects you. Drinks, we also have, you see in the bar, we have soft drink as well. So if you need some sugar, then you can get that. Toilets are down the back if you haven't already seen. So you go through the gate or you can go around that side. There's a toilet block. There's one for female, one for male, and there's also showers in there. First aid, we'll have a presentation. Hopefully she does arrive. And she will definitely go into depth about all the things you need to know and also the things you might need to know when you do your own trips as well. And rubbish, if you would be so kind, just put all your rubbish in the bins, and then that saves us from doing it afterwards. And security, we don't actually have security because I trust you all. So if you do feel like you need to put your stuff away, then just do so. Okay, so what's on? I tried to make this rally a little bit serious, a little bit fun, and available for everyone to participate. So we have the briefing. We will have a roadbook presentation when Andrew gets back. Andrew is currently putting out the event signage on the roads. So just to make sure that everyone knows that there's a motorcycle event on in progress. So when he comes back, he will be doing the roadbook presentation. And don't worry, like that is definitely going ahead. And if you have any problems, like we'll 100% sort that out. So it's a new kind of program for us as well, using this app, but we have a lot of backup systems. So if that's not working for you, you don't like technology or whatever, we have lots of different options. Oh, you're back. Okay, cool. Andrew is back. Nice. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, so we're going to have a briefing tomorrow. We're going to push it back because I feel like we just all need maybe a little bit of a later start, considering that these presentations are actually going to run on a little later. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to do a brief at 8 o'clock, maybe just looking at the weather conditions and just a reminder and a recap of things for the day. Then we have the challenge. So you can start the challenge at any time you want. There are 3 loops. The earlier you go, probably the more you can get done, but make sure that you've had enough rest that you can then participate properly. I'll talk more about how that rally is going to work in a sec. The challenge is going to work in a second. So then we have the mini bike barrel race. So I've got 2 mini bikes there, and then we've got a third that's been brought as well, and we've got some barrels. So you feel free to use any of the bikes and participate, and there is a winner for that as well. So there is an overall. Actually, I'll go into this in a second. The winners. We have a slow race and an egg and spoon race. Really simple stuff, just for fun, while we all have some beers and just relax and talk about the day. And then we'll have a DJ who come in the afternoon and we can just like hang out and have a good time. Sunday we have the enduro course, so it's half finished at the moment, don't fret. We'll add some harder things. I've tried to make it so that the start is easier and then it gets harder and harder. So for those who have big bikes, you might be able to get over a couple. And then if you've got more skill or lighter bikes, you can probably get further. Okay. So then we have motor golf. I don't really know how we came up with this idea, and I don't know if it's going to work, but it seems hilarious. So essentially what motor golf is, you have a pillion behind you and you have a rider, and we have a series of 4 holes, or 3, 4, I think. Yeah, 4 holes with increasing difficulties. The first one is quite big, and the second one is quite big, and then they get smaller, and you have to ride, and then your partner has to hit the ball into the hole. And so the overall winner is the person with the least number of tries for the holes. We don't know how it's going to go, but I feel like if you've got the right pillion, then you could be set to win. Then we'll have barrel race finals, and then we'll have the prize ceremony. Yes, that's that. Okay, rules of the game. So So you have to earn points, and you can earn points by doing the challenge, the off-road challenge. So that means that for every checkpoint that you go through, you accrue points. In order to make it more accessible for our beginner riders and so that they have a chance to win stuff, we have also included points for the silly games as well. So if you happen to have good aim and you get good points for the golf, then great, and all those points will be calculated. So the more points you have, the higher your odds of winning. And my friend Manish has made this fantastic program where you push a button and it does take into account the amount of points you have in order to give you odds to weight it and then to pull the winner. So we'll press that little button on Sunday, and it will tell everyone in live time who won. And so the categories of the winners, and I left the trophies and stuff over there, but we have a massive trophy for overall winner. So that means like total number of points across the board. We have group prizes, so you'll be randomly assigned a group and you won't know who that group is. So you just better count on your group being good. And that's like a little medal. We have some overall prizes for the enduro course. We have medals for the enduro course, the barrel race, and I think the golf. And then the prizes themselves are, I guess, by chance. So you can weight it, but they're by chance. So we have the trip to Darwin, which is free flights and training with Tim in Darwin. I've trained with Tim myself, and other people have, and it's really incredible. And you get to see Darwin, which is awesome. And then the second prize is $250 credit with OpenRoads to do a tour, an international tour with me or with one of my partners. And then we have LS2 helmet. Yeah. So 2 people who have already won the helmets, and one of you needs to still pick it up, and I've talked to you, but we have a 3rd helmet as well as prize. So the challenge, I'll just quickly run you over how it's going to work in the morning. So we'll have a quick briefing, and then when you're ready to go, we'll have marshals. If you haven't seen, there's a start line down that way where the big banner says start. So you'll go there, and then you'll find the marshals or the scrutineer. We'll just double check your form. We'll make sure that everything's correct and that you're ready to go, and then someone will stand on the road and kind of wave you through, and then you'll go. There's not too many of us, so we don't have to be too fussed about how much time in between. I'm going to suggest that the advanced riders do head out first, and then we will make sure that we kind of have enough people behind us sweeps to catch everybody afterwards. Okay, so when you're on the track, and we will be doing the roadbook training soon, but your aim is to, it's not about the amount of time that you take. You can take as long as you want. It's actually just the amount of checkpoints that you find. The checkpoints are pretty easy to find, although I didn't put them out myself, so I'm not exactly certain. The guys did that today, but they should be taped with fluoro tape. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah. So you want to find those stamps, and you'll get that little green book that is like a series of cards in a Ziploc bag. You want to open that up, and you want to find the stamp that corresponds with the category. It's a bit ridiculous watching fully grown men do this, but I think it's quite funny. So if you find a unicorn, it's worth 20 points. So hopefully the guys have put that in a hard place. And then I think like outer space is worth 5, and then there's like pirates is 3, and then animals and smileys is like 1. So the point is that once you've done a route, and there should be around 7 to 8 on each route, then you'll come back in, and you'll come back into the... So you probably came into the very far right today, the entranceway. You want to come in where it says finish line, which is to the closer one here. You'll come in back through there, and there'll be a marshal to record your time. And the reason we record your time is not so that we can time you. It's just so that we know you came back, and we can assess like how long you're actually out there. So we are not going to be publicising everybody's times, because we don't want to encourage this to be a race, but we do want you to know how you've gone, so you can have a look at your times on that sheet. And then we'll record the amount of points. Cool. I think that's that. Okay, this is a really dodgy view because I don't want you to see what it's like, but essentially I just wanted to point out a couple of things to you. So we have, let's start with track 1. Track 1 we have beginner, which is this outside loop. It's a circle. It's a very easy graded road, and something that definitely a beginner could handle. If you are in between a beginner and an advanced, and you want to see if you can up it, then you can take... There's like an A and a B, track 1 beginner, track 1 beginner intermediate. On the roadbook navigator, you'll see that this intermediate, it follows that the grey one in the center. So it kind of ducks in and out. And the reason that I point that to you is because at those red points, you will be entering back onto a road where the beginners will be. So it's just important for you to know that when you do come out of one of those, you'll see it like you'll take a left or a right. When you come out onto that main graded road, just be careful that you may be facing incoming traffic, and that you should just like take it easy. And that's the same for this. So this track 3 advanced and the track 2 intermediate, they both do link up onto the same road where that red dot is. So we just suggest when you are almost at the end and you can see that you've just hit a pretty decent road, that you just also take it easy, because there is that as an intersection. So what can I mention about the routes? I've really tried hard to kind of describe them to you, but it's quite difficult because I don't know your skill. But I'll just run you over a few things that you might find on the tracks. So there is going to be like really heavy wind tomorrow, and something I probably will just discuss now. The last time I actually came to scout these routes, the wind was so heavy, it was probably what's going to be the same as tomorrow, and I found a lot of fallen logs on the way, and I was only able to pass because I was on a DRZ, and even then I couldn't. I had to get my friend Jay to do it. So if that happens to you, we will talk about it more tomorrow, but we do have some things in place that we will do. We will have a chainsaw and go out in there and fix it, but if that does happen to you, you will have to turn back, or we'll figure that out tomorrow. And even if that isn't the case and there's a fallen tree, there still will be branches and stuff in your way, so just be aware of that. Sometimes it can be slippery, sometimes it can just knock you off balance, especially for the beginners. There might be some on those tracks, especially in these little zigzag tracks. There are a couple. Rocks. So there are plenty of rocks, especially in the advanced and the intermediate. Some of you will find this really easy. Some of you will find it really hard. It really depends on your bike and your riding style, and it depends how comfortable you are on hills. So if you're on the the intermediate track, you'll find there is some rubble and there is a lot of river crossings with decent rocks. So I guess that's just something to be aware of. We all love it, so I guess we're not afraid of it all. We just really enjoy it. On the advanced track, if you've got a heavy bike, you will need to just be like, I don't know, because I can't tell how good you are, but just be aware that it is very slippery. We're lucky that it hasn't rained because it makes it less slippery. But yeah, most of the hills on the advanced track are downhill, and there are a couple that are quite precarious. So I think might get one of the guys after this who just did it today to come up and just like maybe tell you his experience so you can get a better judgment of what suits you. So tight bends, there are a couple on this beginner's course. What's that, sorry? No, we have signage that we've just put out today that says event in progress. So I assume that there won't be, but I can't be certain, but they will for sure know. So I'm gonna actually, that reminds me, so Roger from DELP, that's the Department of Environmental Land Water Planning. That's one of my contacts who I've been talking to and fro about getting this all done within permit. He's going to have 5 minutes after this just to talk you through. So maybe I'll just direct that to him wherever he is, and he can give you a better answer on what those signs mean and how the traffic might affect. What was I going to talk about? Tight bends. Yeah, so there are a couple of tight bends where there is just a washout straight away. If you come around a tight bend, just be aware you don't know what's on the other side. Yeah, I guess that's part of adventure riding. It's what we love. And washouts. So this route has a heap of washouts, especially the intermediate one. So that's why it's my favorite route. You can get some serious air if you know how to do it. It's really fun. Just something to be aware of. And on that note, also we have Dave, he's a professional stunt rider. I didn't mention this before, but we will get him to do some stunts. You might have seen his ramps over there at the back. He's got a big one and a small one. He's happy for you to use them. The small one's for obviously beginners, and he's going to be available tomorrow morning to help you, especially the beginners. He'll be there to answer any questions to get you kind of like comfortable. And then we will set out some cones and stuff for you to have a practice round on if you need. And Dave will be great at answering questions you have about washouts as well and how you might be able to approach them. Okay, navigation. So you've got a couple of options. You can use the roadbook reader. Hopefully by now you've seen all my emails and stuff about the options. You can use a printed PDF if you've got the roll or if you just want to stick it on your tank. Or you can use a PDF just on your phone if you don't have the app. So fuel, this is actually wrong. It's not 140, it's like 110, I think. So this will help you gauge, and you can see this also on the roadbook reader. This will help you gauge how much fuel you might need. Every track that you do will bring you back to this camp. So every time you go out, you'll come back, and then you can go to the toilet, you can rehydrate, you can check in with staff, and eat, and then get fuel and go out again. Okay, first day presentation is coming. What if I get lost? Then don't worry. There's one thing important to know is like the road books are not meant to trick you. They're not meant to take you in a place that doesn't seem safe. They're pretty easy to navigate on, and while they may be a slightly bit off, so your odometer might be slightly off what it's telling, it should never point you in a direction that doesn't seem right. So follow the track that you see in front of you, follow where it goes, and if you do get lost, backtrack to where you last were and then try and figure it out. And if failing that, you can backtrack again, but we will have sweeps behind you to help. And what if I break down? That's okay. We have Elise. She's coming up. I don't know if she's here yet. She has a 4-drive with a massive tray and everything you need to put your bike on there. So if you break down, we've got you back, which is great. And I've seen a couple of people with punctures today, so best if you can to bring a kit, but if not, we got you. Cool, so the last bit is we're going to try and hit up a live stream on here, a live social stream, which just means that if you're out on the tracks and you have reception, take a photo and tag this and it will come up here, which means that everyone at camp can see where you are, which is really fun. And I think that's a good way to follow, like if you're enjoying it or where you are and that kind of thing. So yeah, if you have any questions, just shout out and could do a Q&A. Sweet. Sounds good. Well, yeah, thank you guys. I'm like really looking forward to actually spending time with you all. And yeah, I'm really pumped. So hopefully you enjoy the tracks as much as I do. Thanks.